Now, I'm not saying that anything happened between them. That's none of my business. Like, generally, I don't even care.
Knowing her, come on now, you know something happened.
Oh, what's up? Oh, what's up?
Yo, what up? It's Amaje back here another video. Today we're about to be watching a video by Blackie Speaks. And this video is on why rappers keep dating the same women. That sounds fucking disgusting, but widely it is true.
If you've been paying attention, you've probably noticed this pattern. Rappers keep dating the same women, same faces, same couples, same relationships popping up again and again. And this pattern shows up everywhere in the rap game. Even Drake and Future allegedly fell out after dealing with the same woman at one point. That's how small this circle really is. And here's the part nobody really breaks down. The dating pool in hip hop is very tiny, like way smaller than people think. And to really show you what I mean, let me start this video off with a quick story. A couple years ago, I met this mid-level rapper. He had a Billboard charting record at the time and some decent buzz to his name. I met him backstage during one of his shows, and that was because a friend of mine had gotten invited and I just happened to be the plus one. So I'm backstage or whatever, there's a bunch of people there, right? The music is loud, etc. And then I noticed something really interesting. In the corner of the room, right, there's these three girls, two in red, one in black. And immediately, I actually recognized these women because I'd seen those exact same girls at another rapper show about like 6 months earlier. So I asked my friend, I'm like, hey bro, who are those three girls in the corner? And then he looks at me and says, bro, they're just a part of the circle. At that point, I didn't really need to ask anything else. And for anybody who's confused, he was basically telling me they're regulars. They move around the whole industry. And that's just one real life example.
That's fucking crazy. You could just recognize somebody's face instantly. That proves that they've been getting passed around. Oh, that's nasty.
Of this entire conversation. Once you really start paying attention, you realize rappers aren't dating from the whole world. They're dating from the same circles over and over. I'm talking same faces, same rooms, same rotation, just behind different doors. Now let's talk about some of those very popular faces in hip hop. Because if you've been anywhere near hip hop culture or even hip hop adjacent, you might recognize at least one of the women on the screen right now. Let's start with the one to the left, and that is Selena Powell, the self-proclaimed industry thought. I did say self-proclaimed, okay? Selena has built a career off of exposing rappers, finessing situations, turning private moments into clout, and she's taken pride in all this. This is her forte. Like, this is...
Yo, I don't know if it was either her or some other thought, but Lil Baby was acting like such a lame ass nigga when it came to that. He was hitting her phone, like talking about he got more money than the dude she with, and telling her to come over. Like, man, how desperate you gotta be? And she exposed that shit too.
what she does. And then we have Ruby Rose, someone who got her first big breakthrough dating Playboy Cardi. She rode that momentum very nicely, got connected to the right people, and before you know it, she popped up in the Bad and Bougie music video. Wasn't Takeoff left off?
I heard some rumors about that video, and it ain't good, bro. Word on the street, she was underage in that video. I don't know if that's true. Just heard that shit in multiple videos.
Bad and Bougie, RP to Takeoff. From there, Ruby Rose became a recognized face in the industry. She's dated several rappers in a game, built a massive IG presence, dropped music, launched an OnlyFans account. Now, Ruby is interesting because she really understood the environment very early on and turned visibility into a business model. And unlike a lot of the women who got caught up in a game, Ruby caught on to the game early and capitalized off of all of it, securing her own bag in the process. You gotta respect it. And then there's India Love, someone who didn't just pop up on Instagram like,
You know what? That is kind of respectable. At least she didn't stay in like a little thought phase and, just kept like demeaning herself. I mean, whatever you can say about her now, I guess that's your opinion, but like she kind of moved up.
most people think. India actually first popped off on Tumblr back during that whole, aesthetic edits, it girl era. She built a serious following there before Instagram even became the move. And then after that, she picked up even more attention through reality TV and early IG culture. So by the time Instagram blew up, she was already a known face and slid right into that OG IG baddie / model, whatever you want to call it, right, lane. So she's been in the mix for over a decade, and her first major mainstream moment came from her relationship with the game. At the time, she was 18 and he was 35. 35? I know. It's crazy. Like 35? I know. 35? Yeah. And from that point forward, she's basically been connected to the same circle ever since. Last but definitely not least, we got Brittany Renner, She's another woman who's been in the mix for years, and yeah, she's mostly known for finessing the athletes, but she's been around the rap world as well.
Yeah, these fucking athletes do not fucking learn, especially with her involved. Like, especially, bro, PJ Washington is stupid as fuck. Bro, I swear, when people get more money, they just develop less brain cells in their head and just think, oh, I'll be all right. No, you won't, my nigga. Women around the corner will just keep like extorting you, extorting you.
She dated Lil Uzi Vert actually way back, and she was even married to Kevin Gates for like 2 business days. Now all of these women are basically the faces everybody recognize when people talk about the women who've been connected to the industry's biggest rappers for years. But here's the thing, this whole pattern, this rotation, this ecosystem, it didn't start with these women. Before the IG models, before the industry girl even became a term, it all started with one woman, a big throwback, a name from the blog era a lot of y'all will probably recognize, Cat Stacks.
I'm Cat Stacks. I got a lot of stories to tell. The people I expose in my blog aren't all the people I've been with. I've been to Lil Wayne's crib. I've been them. A nigga gave me $1,200 motherfucking dollars.
For everyone tuned in during the blog era, you already know who this is. The first real rap groupie the internet ever saw. She was loud, unfiltered, unapologetic, and the definition of I'll say whatever the fuck I want to say. And her whole brand was basically exposing rappers. And the thing about Cat Stacks is she actually ended up revealing something.
Why the fuck do people still fuck with her if she's just gonna keep exposing them? That's like that's like when it's just the rapper's fault at that point. Rappers are just so fucking stupid at times. Like y'all really like kind of ruining y'all reputation with the girl that exposes everybody.
Nobody was even thinking about back then. And that was that rappers only deal with a select group of women. Now Cat wasn't just around rappers. She was inside the parts of the industry people never see. And because she was proudly shameless, she talked about everything that she saw behind the scenes.
It was all publicity, entertainment, because to them, I just see them as business, not friend type. My family's my friend, but they're just business.
Now that clip right there, that was Cat in her purest form. No filter, no secrecy, no protect the brand. Like this woman she just didn't give a fuck, okay? And she moved exactly like that. In a lot of ways, Cat Stacks became the blueprint for what we now call the industry girl. And yeah, let's be honest, she was definitely clout chasing like crazy. That was her whole hustle. But here's the funny part. Even while she was doing it for attention, she was accidentally pulling back the curtain on something way bigger than her. She showed you the same thing over and over again. These rappers are basically all running through the same group of women. And once you put those pieces together, you finally understand why this keeps happening. It all comes down to one thing, and that word is access. Who gets in, who stays in, who even has the proximity to step into the room in the first place.
One of the first questions that someone asked was why rappers recycle the same women. I wonder why.
I'll tell you this. I think they recycle the same women because are all in the same circle.
When people talk about access, here's what it really means. Rappers aren't choosing from the world. Their environment is choosing for them. They deal with whoever is actually available in their world, not the millions of people the internet imagines. And once you take a look at the rooms they're actually moving in, studios, backstage, private events, late night sessions, that huge dating pool everybody thinks exists shrinks very fast. The circle becomes tiny, not because they don't have other opportunities, but because those are the only people who even exist in their day-to-day reality. Because the truth is this, most artists spend their days locked in studios, catching last-minute flights, doing press runs, moving city to city, sleeping strange hours, surrounded by the same team, in the same environments on repeat. So even though they're technically meeting people every day, they're not making real connections with anybody.
I mean, now that you put it that way, that kind of sucks, but dealing with somebody else that, had that is kind of disgusting still. I would rather go out there and try to, like, meet somebody that's, like, on a famous level than me.
Schedule doesn't allow it. Their security, depending on what level they're at, doesn't allow it. Their fame, depending on what level they're at, doesn't allow it. So naturally, they end up dating the people who are already in the mix, already in those rooms, already accustomed to their lifestyle. And once you understand that, the whole question of why do all these rappers date the same women starts making a lot more sense. And here's the thing, this whole dating ecosystem they're in, it's basically one big recommendation loop. Because most of these dudes are not best friends, but they all move in the same exact circles. In other words, they're doing shows together, which means they're backstage together. They're at the same studio sessions, they share the same promoters, security, videographers, they hit the same clubs and the same after parties. And what happens is this: once a woman gets close to one rapper or is even seen around him, her name automatically travels through that whole network. Yeah, she been around the homies, yeah, she's solid, yo, she a little crazy, but she's definitely loyal, she's safe, she knows how to move, whatever, right? That's the recommendation loop. It's not organized, it's just how
That whole thing was like a recommendational loop. Why the fuck this Cat Stacks chick kept getting recommended through the loop and, exposing all these rappers? Who the fuck was like telling them that was like it was a good idea to, have her for the night or, date her for like a couple of months? That's where I'm just so fucking confused. Like that's weird.
the industry operates. So when a woman enters that world, she's not just dating one rapper, she's basically introduced to the whole gang by default. Because once you're in that circle, you're accessible to everybody inside that world. To them, she's the safe option. Not the best option, not the baddest option, far from, because a lot of the fans be way better than these industry women, right? That's another conversation. She's just the familiar one. And yes, it's very transactional in most cases, but nobody looks at it like that. Because at the end of the day, these are all grown adults coming together, knowing what it is, and they're all benefiting from it somehow. So it's really just the unspoken system that's been a part of hip hop forever. Now let me give you guys a clear example of what I mean. Y'all know Sexy Red, right? Of course you do. Now before Sexy Red blew up, she wasn't living this superstar.
I mean, what he was yapping about before this Sexy Red thing came up on there about the fans and shit, I kind of, get why they wouldn't want to like date a normal person and, go out and meet them, because a lot of people get exposed, a lot of people get lied on, a lot of people get, allegations, ape allegations, if you know what I mean about that. Just put the R word in front of that. But a lot of people just get so many allegations. But it still kind of happened with these women too, as you've seen in the streamer world.
Lifestyle. On one interview with Sean Cotton from Say Cheese, she talked about having like $30 in her pocket back then. She was broke, she was grinding, she was trying to figure things out. And here's the interesting part, right? Before Sexy Red became popular, she was already spending a lot of time in Chicago, specifically around rapper FBG Duck, who was popping in Chicago before he got killed in 2020.
You met FBG Duck before he passed, and you traveled to Chicago to meet. Was it to meet him specifically?
No, it was to shoot my video.
And this footage of Sexy Red being around FBG Duck and a bunch of other people somewhere, I don't know where this is. This footage popped up when Sexy Red started blowing up.
Wait, what's your rap name?
I don't know yet. Somewhere red though.
Now, I'm not saying that anything happened between them. That's none of my business. Like, generally, I don't even care.
Knowing her, come on now, something happened. This is the same girl that exposed, well, I guess she uploaded her sex tape accidentally uploaded her sex tape to her story. Come on now.
Right? The point is this: she was already inside that environment. She was already around that circle, which is something that I touched on earlier. Although these women may not be the best option or even, the most attractive one, they're usually the most predictable option. And when I say predictable, I mean this: they already understand the lifestyle, the chaos, the late nights, the pressure. So rappers don't have to explain themselves or risk being misunderstood. And honestly, that applies to anybody. You don't have to be a rapper to relate to this, right? Whatever life you live, you don't want to sit there breaking down your whole schedule, your stress, your routine to somebody you're dating. You just want somebody who gets it. And predictability goes a very long way in an industry where nothing else is predictable. Think about it like this: being a rapper today means living in constant uncertainty. One month you're up, the next month you're praying the algorithm isn't killing you. One mistake can ruin an entire rollout. One headline can tank your momentum. There's no stable schedule, no routine, no structure. So when everything around you is chaos, your brain naturally gravitates towards whoever feels familiar. And psychologists call this the familiarity bias. You don't need to graduate from Harvard to understand this.
I'm not gonna lie. Despite whoever I'm trying to feel familiar with, I wouldn't want nobody else's like after. Well, basically leftovers is what I'm saying. Like, if somebody had that, I wouldn't want that. I can get how they just never go out and just have a social life is because they're famous and who they are. But like, I don't know how they deal with like that rotation of rappers and rotation of women that other rappers had and people. That's how like beef start and that's how people get dissed and shit. That's what happened to Drake and Future. So I kind of don't get this whole thing why they do that. But hey, if you guys want to see me react to some more videos, I'm gonna be reacting to some more. Recommend some in the comments. But I'll catch you guys later. We on the road to 250.